This is Deborah Atkinson, and you're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and struggles. I share what to eat, how to move, and how to think to get the energy and the vitality that you want in this second and better half. In this episode, I'm sharing information about a particular fitness nutrition product, but on a deeper level about the benefits of the ingredients in the product. You may be one of our Flipping 50 member box subscribers, and you'll appreciate the knowledge behind this product that I vetted for your box this month, which was all things to make your workout more effective, enjoyable, and fun. If you're not already a member box subscriber and you're into Christmas surprises and all the things that make fitness easier and you want to avoid toxic products that mess with your hormones, I'll link to details about the Flipping 50 member box in the show notes for today's episode. But first of all, what is this thing that I'm reviewing? Hydrogen water, or hydrogen-infused water, is created when you add extra hydrogen molecules to water, which, yes, is already hydrogen and oxygen. You can buy hydrogen-infused water in a can. You can purchase a machine to split the molecules and add the hydrogen, or you can use tablets that dissolve in water, which is what we're talking about today. I tracked down Jeff Taraday, one of the co-owners of Trusii, creators of hydrogen tablets, for this episode. I asked him to share the need for hydrogen with us.
When it comes to the need for hydrogen in the body, there's a number of things going on. On a regular basis, because of the fact that we live in the modern world, we are being assaulted with environmental factors, internal factors, high levels of stress, all of which are contributing to oxidative stress, inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction, and so on and so forth. And eating healthy and taking supplements to a certain extent is effective, but probably given the modern world that we're in with EMFs and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and so on and so forth, not to mention the pollution, the degradation of soil, and so on, it's probably not enough. So hydrogen is the smallest, most effective cell balancing molecule that you could possibly get into your body. And it addresses oxidative stress and inflammation on the deepest possible level.
I did some research on this lesser talked about component of fitness nutrition, and there's significant information available on the benefits of hydrogen. Benefits that appeal to you and I and our Flipping 50 community that include bone health, reducing the effects of oxidation on aging, improving mitochondrial function. And your mitochondria is where basically it's energy production central in your body. If you start getting breathless, doing things that used to be easy, you can attribute that to potentially a lot of things, but mitochondria production decreases, and that can be one contributing factor as you age. Weight loss, and that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as benefits go. But my question is, why don't we hear more about this? In this 35th year I've been in the fitness, health, and wellness industry, even I haven't been hearing much about this.
We don't hear that much about this because this is relatively new science. In 2007, the first high-impact peer-reviewed study was published out of Japan, and it sent shockwaves throughout the scientific community in Japan, but it took a little while for it to get translated and picked up here in America. So there's been now about 12 years of good research on hydrogen. There were some studies here and there prior to that, but this is really when the scientific community started building up momentum. So we just haven't heard that much about it yet because it's a pretty brand new and emerging scientific field.
I also asked Jeff, what led you to develop Trusii?
When it came to developing Trusii, we were actually, oddly enough, a nutrition and skincare company for quite a while. But we always had a desire to measure our success by affecting the lives of our clients on the deepest possible way. And when we sort of stumbled upon hydrogen through a couple of contacts that we had in Japan, it really just blew our mind. We started looking at the scientific research, we started testing it out, and we were really, really compelled to add it to our product offering. But when that division of our company started growing so quickly, we decided to pivot wholeheartedly into the hydrogen business.
Many of you listeners, our Flipping 50 audience members, already take additional magnesium on top of a multivitamin supplement. And Trusii lists magnesium on the ingredients list, so I know that you'd be curious or concerned about that. I asked Jeff about that.
When it comes to the magnesium in the H2 Now tablets, basically what's going on is we're using a pure elemental magnesium that then reacts with the water to create the hydrogen gas. And the magnesium that's left over is actually not a magnesium citrate or magnesium malate or fumarate or anything like that. It's a magnesium ion, which is actually the most bioavailable and effective form of magnesium that you can get into your body. If your listeners are already taking high amounts of magnesium, I would pay attention to that, but it's probably not a concern.
I personally don't love that the tablets contain dextrose, something that you, our audience members, are taught to seek out on labels, whether we're talking protein powders or any other product. So I asked Jeff to comment on the reason and the role dextrose plays and in why it's included.
When it comes to the dextrose, there's such an infinitesimal amount of dextrose in our tablets, and we are working on getting rid of them just because of the fact that we don't like seeing that name on the label either. But the dextrose that's contained in our tablets is used mostly as a binder, and it doesn't affect blood sugar at all whatsoever. In fact, if you look at our tablets, there's no calories on our label. And that will show you that there's such a tiny amount of dextrose in there that it's quite insignificant.
There's no denying that the benefits sound really good. But here are some that Jeff shared to elaborate on what they're finding with their clients.
When it comes to the results that we're seeing, we see a lot of mental clarity, energy, reduction in chronic pain, sleep quality, mood stabilization, hormone regulation, and improvements in athletic performance and recovery.
There are over 1,100 or 1,100 peer-reviewed studies right now on benefits of hydrogen gas. There are a lot of animal studies so far, but fewer human studies. So I had to ask about any negative side effects. Numerous articles, several by doctors, as well as PubMed published studies, meaning peer-reviewed journals, show no negative side effects to date, including studies that were done on patients after having undergone radiation treatments. Hydrogen water is GRAS, which means it's GRAS certified by the Food and Drug Administration, so it's generally recognized as safe. There aren't, however, any regulations or standards when it comes to dosage. I also asked the question about existing studies featuring women in midlife specifically using the hydrogen-rich water products, and if so, what were results? I couldn't find any specifically isolating women in perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. That's not a surprise given the research is relatively new. There are tests done on older adults proving bone density and improvements in Alzheimer's disease, hearing, wrinkles, and ocular degeneration. It also reduces mitochondrial damage and oxidative stress and muscular fatigue in athletes. So how soon could you expect to feel results? Well, it depends on what you're looking at. Oxidative stress and inflammatory response to exercise was tested within hours of consumption of 15 milliliters, and that was 3 500 milliliter bottles of hydrogen-rich water, for instance. Acute improvements in heart rate during submaximal exercise were also recorded after ingestion of hydrogen-rich water the day before and the day of exercise testing. Some of the brain benefits were recorded after 7 days in traumatic brain injured patients given hydrogen-rich water. My bottom line is this. I'm going to use Trusii for the remaining 3 months of my training leading to Ironman Cozumel and journal about it in the blog. It's going to be a staple in my fitness nutrition for these last big months. So the very last few weeks, there's definitely a taper, but this is a big volume period of time. And I save it so I can minimize the wear and tear and the oxidation and acceleration of aging that happens if you're just doing a lot of cardiovascular activity. But there's no way to avoid it and actually do the race without doing damage on race day. So you can watch and follow along with me. If you have a member box, subscribers are going to get the chance to try it themselves. If you'd like to join the Flipping 50 member box that gains you access to an exclusive members-only market area where you can get Trusii at a rate nobody else can, I'll link to the members box below and you can look into it further. And I'll also list the place where you can look at Trusii. If you want more information, you can link to all of the studies that caused them to dive in and create the product. If you have a question or a comment, or you've tried hydrogen-rich water, please leave it below the show link at flipping50.com/fitness-nutrition. I love hearing from you. And if this episode was helpful, please leave a rating in iTunes and then share it with a friend. Surround yourself with a supportive community of women who are on the same journey. To get the most from this week's episode, check out today's show notes again at flipping50.com/fitness-nutrition. And you'll find the place to open up and get the research links, look a little bit deeper into the Flipping 50 member box. And what are you waiting for? Let's start Flipping 50 together.